Hi, Godso Medicine PlayStation and Medic Maniac YouTube. And I thought I'd talk about the state of football games because I checked in on a couple of YouTubers that I followed over the years making PES content, football content, game-wise. And the True Brits has hit a point where this video was out, a month or so ago, and he's just not into the current football games. eFootball that Konami don't do Master League, and he's not an online player. He's like me. He's like many of us. We exist. We like Master League. We like football games. This is a little search I did because I keep an eye on a couple of YouTubers, like I say, that I've followed over the years, and they've moved on to eFootball, the downloadable thing from Konami. And they have hopium that one day Konami will put Master League in. They won't. There's no easy way of saying that. They won't. And this is something that I've reiterated on my channel. Back in the day when I started playing games, I played games on a system called the Commodore 64. And there were a plethora of football games. I started by playing International Soccer, which was Commodore's own brand football game. Classics like Match Day 2, Emlyn Hughes International Soccer, Microprose Soccer, and there are many more. In fact, there's a video here, a screenshot of this video that covers a lot of the football games. I think there's a couple missed, actually. But on the Commodore 64, and of course at that time there was the Spectrum, the Amstrad, the BBC Micro, and that all moved on to the 16-bit era of the Atari ST and the Amiga with things like Kickoff and stuff, and then over the years into the consoles that we see today. But today on PlayStation, which is the console that I play games on now, there are nowhere near as many football games. There was PES, there was FIFA, and that was pretty much it. I know over the years a couple of other studios, publishers had a go at a football game here and there. They did, but in the main it was PES and FIFA, and now Electronic Arts hold the monopoly. They hold the monopoly. They do copy and paste every year, minimal effort, maximum exploitation, monetization of people who want to play football games. And there is a big gap in the market of football games. And that is why people who dedicated a lot of time to putting together content for the communities that played games like the True Brits are finding it very difficult to get the joy anymore because it's been strangled. We need fresh impetus. We need more publishers, more developers to have a go at football games, just like we used to get on the Commodore 64. Why do EA have the monopoly? Why? Why do they suffocate all the competition? Why is that allowed? That's a monopoly. And that's, you could say, well, that's a free market. Well, in a free market you would have more competition, surely. This is not right. It is not right. Not in my opinion. The True Brits was saying, for all the good that the modders do, and they do a good job. I'm not on PC, so I don't get to have that. But I can watch it on YouTube. I can watch the modders with PES 2021, and my opinion if you've seen my stuff before. I think that PES 2021 is the best iteration of PES on PlayStation consoles. It's certainly the best one, and I have all of them on PS4. It's the best one for me, absolutely, and I talk about it, and I have talked about it. But if we look at the state of football games in general, there's a reason why nobody else does it. And that reason is a stranglehold by Electronic Arts. If you've seen my stuff before and you've seen me talk about driving games, for me, driving games are in a very similar position. There's a monopoly, there's a stranglehold by, companies like EA. EA have purchased so many studios that make driving games. It's unreal. And PES does not exist because largely of EA. They copied the PES format and they've snuffed out the competition because that is what they are like. And their stuff is substandard. They don't produce quality stuff. And they don't care about producing quality stuff. Why would you care about producing quality stuff when you're the only kid on the block? Do you know what I mean? And games never used to be like that. So I've had a little discussion elsewhere in, other groups and stuff, and people have been talking about monetization, right, in video games. It was a video by Mug Thief. If you haven't seen Mug Thief, I highly recommend him. Go check him out. But he was talking about, he consulted with a couple of behavioural psychologists because the monetization in video games, that's what they use. They use behavioural science. So developers, right, human beings who are passionate about video games, they want to make the best game. But they're not the ones holding the purse strings or funding their own projects, right? You have investors and shareholders, and they're the ones who fund the projects. Do they care about video games? Not really. Do they care about the enjoyment of the people playing the video games? Not if they're making a profit. And what they do is they key into the monetization based on behavioural science and behavioural psychology, right, to influence the player and incentivize the player to spend real money and keep playing their game for data collection, online data collection, and selling that and stuff, and monetization stuff. They don't care about football. They don't care about games. They care about exploiting us. And it didn't used to be that way. On the Commodore 64, back in the 80s, there were so many football games because it was about games. And then, of course, the money men saw the potential of exploitation of players and stuff like that, and here we are today. So it was sad to check up on the True Brits and, just check up, catch up, see what's kicking, because I catch up on them less now because PES doesn't come out every year now. It's eFootball, and eFootball doesn't have Master League. There's no reason really for me to check up on them other than, I used to like watching them back in the day. Pro Spartan Gamer, the same, hoping that Konami will put Master League in eFootball. Really enjoyed Pro Spartan's content. I've said so on my channel many a time before. PES DNA Shales. I think PES DNA Shales really is going the way that I think if you like video games, and I'm not talking the corporate stuff today, the monetization, the tapping in exploitation of utilizing behavioral psychology and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about proper video games. If you like proper video games, PES DNA Shales goes down the retro route and does, PES 5 on PS2. Or whatever, PC he's using. I think he uses PC actually, because I think, he might have some mods on that game or something. I'm not really sure. But if you like video games, proper real video games, my only advice is go retro. I myself, I like offline games. I'm not a PS Plus subscriber anymore. I've talked about that because I don't like censorship. And I'm going to be very clear about it. And there's too much censorship going on. There's too much wanting to take freedom away from people in all aspects of life, and definitely in gaming. So PS Plus can go whistle. I'm not bothered. And if push comes to shove, I'll just play my retro games, my retro football games. My biggest advice to anybody who wants to enjoy football games again is, get a PS2, get a start to HDMI. You will get 60 Hz and NTSC. I've spoken about this before on modern tellies, right? And get a couple of pads. Get some mates in, get some peanuts and beers and whatnot, and have fun. Right? That is my biggest advice for enjoying video games and football, because the older football video games are still good. If you can grab a copy of PES 2020 or 2021, get some mates round, get a couple of pads, have some fun. Talk football, play football, play video games. Not this corporate bullshit, this stuff that's insidiously poisoning the gaming industry. We need to make gaming great again. Take gaming away from, the corporate people who use behavioral psychology to exploit you with all this monetization shit. We need to make gaming great again. Some developers out there with some balls and some passion for video games to go and get some talent together and get some proper funding together to make video games for the passionate gaming public who want to play a good football game. I spoke about my model that I would use, the 3-year cycle, maybe even 4-year cycle, just depending if you can get the funding or not. But the editor, who needs licenses? Who needs them? I don't. We never did back in the day. Ripman United and stuff like that. You could delete the name and put your own name in. We've lost the art of playing video games and using our imagination. It's not about the licenses. It's about the passion for football and the passion for video games. It's about taking football games and giving them back to the footballing public. Right? That's what it's about. Who needs online, really? I mean, you can have it if you want. You can play against people online if you want. And some people do enjoy it. But there's a lot of us who like playing with our mates, hurling abuse at one another and, a bit of banter and stuff like that. And, oh, you suck, mate, and have some of that and all this sort of stuff on a couch, having a laugh, talking football and playing some video games, some football video games without all this corporate exploitation shit. Make gaming great again. That passion. Who needs licenses? Give us an editor. Let us share things. That the online would be good for that. Sharing, stuff in the editor. That'd be great. You don't need any licenses at all. If you've got a good core football game like PES Delivered, and you can update that every so often and improve on it until your next version comes out. If you've got a big editor, a sandpit that we can dig in and have some fun with and share that and share our creations and share our passion, they sell like hotcakes, because this copy and paste shit, this exploitative, is that even a word, exploitation shit, is killing gaming. It is. So True Brit, sad to see you, leave that space. Anyway, until next time, take care.